Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Sabbath Show. And today we are doing the match recap for the Carlton Adelaide game, in which the Blues got up by 8 goals. We are now in the top 4 after 8 weeks, which is just bloody amazing. This was a comprehensive 48-point win. It probably should have been more. As much as an 8-goal win is bloody amazing, we could have actually come away probably maybe 80-point winners, 90-point winners, given where, the position we're in, in the latter stages of that third quarter. But enough of the rambling. Let's just get into the game recap. Key performers again, as I have a look at big possession winners. Cripper with 2 goals and 35 touches once again. 26 handballs, so, not as effective. He's getting in and under. He's getting the handball out to those guys that can use the ball effectively. Had the 10 clearances himself. He had 7 tackles. He was bloody grouse. Doherty off halfback had some very good moments. 10 marks involved. Quite a few intercepts in that as well. Chera, he's had a couple of quiet weeks this season and had 27 touches. Was absolutely exquisite in the first half. Ended with 27 total and 7 tackles, and then Walshy with 26 and 7 marks as well. Zachy Fish had 2 goals too with 23. And Charlie Curnow kicked 6 goals in a performance that involved 21 touches, 20 of those being kicks, and 10 marks. So he was probably by far the best player on the ground. And Harry Mackay, even though he only had about, I'd like to say, under 10 touches, 9 touches, still kicked 3 goals too, which is a really good return, given he also only had 2 marks. So goes to show he was either winning free kicks or he was doing things at ground level. There was one goal he kicked where basically followed up his own ruck work and kicked it outside of the boot or check side, and just shaped beautifully into the goals. So that was grouse. Charlie Curnow, as I said, absolutely amazing. He was plucking everything, but I think the major talking point out of this is the third quarter for Carlton, because obviously been a point of emphasis. Last couple of weeks, the third quarter performances have turned from absolute garbage into absolute greatness. In that quarter, we kicked, I reckon, we kicked 6 goals, 6, and that could have been astronomical in terms of output if you think about it, when you put it that way. And the Crows kicked 2 behind, so we absolutely demolished them in that third quarter. There were goals being kicked that just we had no right kicking. There was the Jack Silvani check side running towards the boundary that somehow went in from the wrong side. Matty Kennedy kicked an absolutely brilliant goal from the pocket. He just threaded the needle perfectly and kicked that as well. And then there were just some great team goals as well. I think that was the major thing that you can extract from today. It was a very pure team performance. Outside of probably the opening 5 minutes of the game and the last quarter, this performance was probably one of the best I've ever seen. We had 100 points after 3 quarters. We could have gone on and kicked 140 for the game, but it is not in the Carlton way to do that. But regardless, I take the output. 116 points total. It could be better, but it also could be a lot worse. I think some people would have flagged this as a little bit of a danger game, given the teams that the Crows have picked up scalps against. The Bulldogs, who haven't been great this year, but they are a very good side in terms of the class that they possess. The Crows have been in games with Essendon, lost the Fremantle by a point, and that's probably the closest Fremantle have been to a loss, well, obviously, without losing. So they've actually been neck and neck with quite a few good teams this season. So you weren't really thinking that they were going to lie down, but at times this game really seemed like a training drill. We made it look that way. We made it look really easy, especially that third quarter. It was like a procession, basically. Everything was going our way. Everyone played their role as well. Jordan Boyd, obviously, I give him probably a ton of slack because he's probably worse than Lockie Plowman, but actually delivered on the big stage today. I was looking at him in warm-ups and I was just a little bit worried because he looked a bit shaky, but he shook off the cobwebs and put in some good efforts in this game. Corey Durden, he's had a quite few weeks as well. There was one really good passage of play that I'd like to highlight. Got up the ground. He actually got up at the ground a few times. Took a couple marks in the back line and got some possessions back there. But there was one where he got involved in the contest, and then got the hands, and then took a couple bounces, and then hit Charlie Curnow lace out. We need to see more of that, because it feels like the small forwards aren't really making their presence felt at ground level. I can't really pinpoint the amount of times that we get goals courtesy of crumbing the footy at ground level, and it's not a lot. I'll tell you that much. But if Durden and Always can really contribute on that front, I think it'll be grouse. I really want to see the stats for Durden and Always, because I feel like they're up there in terms of tackle stats. Yeah, Durden had 4 tackles and Always had 5. So given that they don't have a lot of the footy, that is going to be a major point where you need to, you need to be making it up. Even though you're not getting a lot of the footy, you need to be, putting pressure on the ball carriers for the Crows in order to, lock the ball in that forward line. So that was really positive, for us today, even though there wasn't any goals that were scored from those two. I can't really complain with their effort today. I think the effort was really good. You look at other players, Louis Young was exceptional once again. Albeit against, guys like Himmelberg, which aren't really, they're not really that reliable as yet with regards to, kicking bags of goals. But Louis Young just absolutely destroyed Himmelberg. He didn't really stand a chance. He just did everything right. He knew when to go off his man to help out, go third man up. He was killing everything when it actually went in his direction or for his opponent. He was grouse, and Wiedering also did what he had to do. I only think he conceded 1 goal to Taylor Walker, if I'm not mistaken, but Tex had his work cut out for him. He had 16 touches and 2 goals, but really, it didn't really feel like he had a huge grasp on the game. He kicked a goal in the first 5 minutes or so, and then for the rest of the game, was well held. So I think that's a testament to the entire backline, who, as I said previously, we went on some big runs in terms of goal scoring for large parts of the game, and the Crows never really got going. So as I said, defensively, we were, very sound. Zach Williams, only the 16, Adam Sard, only the 14, so they didn't have as much of an influence, but Newman was exceptional once again off halfback. Lockie O'Brien kicked 2 behinds and had some very good moments. Got really involved in, and Jack Nunes as well, even though we love to, give him a lot of shit for being garbage. He actually put in some good efforts today, even though he, has those brain dead moments. He used his experience and know-how at times and put on some very good tackles, show that aggression. There was a bit of heat early in this game, but once the Blues got on a roll, that energy was sucked right out, especially for the Crows. So, and then, speaking of which, that last quarter was probably one of the most dead quarters I have witnessed, merely because the game was over. And unfortunately, the Blues do not know how to put the foot down and make sure you just keep on banging on the goals. Because we basically had an opportunity to get this percentage out to something, exceptional, much more exceptional than what it was a few weeks back. Obviously it's pretty good, given the position we were in, a fortnight ago, but there was a bit more percentage to be had in this, and instead we put our foot off the gas. We let the Crows kick, I think, 4 or 5 goals in the last quarter and only kicked 2 of our own. So we let the Crows double their score. That was, courtesy of the midfield stopping, really. We weren't sticking tackles. The Crows were able to, freely roam through the middle and do what they wanted, essentially. Obviously, they would have loved that for the whole game, but obviously we were up to the task earlier on when the game actually mattered. So obviously, you take an 8-goal win, that really demonstrates the dominance, but I think it's really misleading in terms of how much we actually dominated, because that scoreline is doing the Crows justice. They weren't even close to being within 8 goals of us. We played an exceptional third quarter, absolutely demolished them. They didn't have a sniff, and then, we sort of let that unravel a little bit in the last quarter when, things just started to get a little bit out of hand. In a closer game, we would have been on the edge of our seats, but happily, it was all smiles around the grandstand for Carlton supporters and players and coaching staff. All of the above. So, very happy with the win. We're 6-2. We play GWS next week. They are a bogey side, especially in Sydney. I've been told we haven't even won there before against the Giants. So that's always a wonderful sign going into the fixture. But hopefully it will bring us a bit of better fortune going into this fixture, because Giants aren't traveling that well. I think they've only won 2 games, so they are actually the inverse of our record right now, which, yeah, I don't know how much that's going to play into it, but past history would suggest that it's not going to be easy. Regardless, we need to play a full 4 quarters, and yeah, if we do that, I think we'll be okay. Forward line should fire. I think the back line should also have their bases covered. It's really going to come down to the midfield, because I believe that's where all the Giants, or should I say the Giants, have all their weapons. So, yeah, that's going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed this one. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe. You know the deal. This is happening after every game of the season. We've done a few already, and we're doing some more in the future. But thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.